So, welcome back to Self Care Safari. Today's topic is about meeting people who are energetically on your level. So, listen, I just want to, first of all, I want to say thank you guys for listening in. Thank you for joining me on Owl Radio, y'all. Like I said, I am live. This is live. Not I tried to go live on IG, but I don't think I like Instagram Live. I don't like that. We're not going like so. I think I'm gonna stick to how I've been recording because I don't like that. But anyway, it's okay. So moving on, guys. Like I said, today's topic is about meeting people who are on your level. And last time we stopped off with saying it takes a real confident person to walk away from the group just as much as it takes an insecure person to stick around for the sake of having company. It just evolves with time. Like when you're younger, you attract a certain type of person. As you get older, you attract a certain type of people. But sometimes people just attract the same type of person with a different face. So I don't know. I kind of want to just open up the floor to get a better understanding on how y'all feel about it. But I don't know. I mean, is it the same for guys? Trey? Do y'all like attract a whole bunch of hoochie women when y'all are young? Is that what y'all like?
I don't.
Oh, he don't. Like I said, man, I don't know. I feel like I said, when you're energetically trying to make new friends, or even when it comes to relationships too, because for me, like I said, y'all, I'm coming from a period in time where I wasn't talking to nobody. Like I went into this complete isolation mode where I wasn't dealing with nobody. I wasn't attracted to anybody. I just really wanted to shut myself off so that I could grow as an individual. But a lot of it stemmed from the pandemic. So I talk about this a lot, but like when you get sat down forcefully, you kind of have to deal with yourself. And I didn't like that at first, honestly. I was more so kind of trying to deal with my own trauma. And I don't know if y'all are anything like me. I'm an Aquarius. If anybody can relate to the Aquarius out there, my babies. Oh, and my birthday's February 16th for anybody who can't relate. But yes, so I'm an Aquarius. And I don't know if it's the Aquarius in me, but when I go through traumatic events or just feel like I need time to myself, I kind of self-isolate a lot. But I do that a lot. Like I kind of push a lot of people away when I'm going through stuff because of my hyper independence. So when I feel like I need to be alone, I shut all that off. I don't care who's attracted to me. I don't care who's like, it's just one of those things. But like I said, when you're energetically in alignment with people, you'll know, because there's a difference. There is a difference between people forcefully trying to be in your energy versus people who are just naturally and organically in alignment with you. And I feel like the main difference is like you can start to tell who's for you and who's not for you when you start. You got to really watch the people around you when you start elevating, or even when you're not elevating, right? Because you got to think about it. Not too many people. Let me put it this way. You attract a certain type of frequency when you're down and out, just as much as you attract a certain type of frequency when you're up. So, for example, right, when you're down and out and you're going through, like, I don't know, a breakup, or you're going through a job loss, I don't know, whatever trauma looks like to you. When you're going through that type of stuff, you tend to attract the same type of friends who are also going through that type of trauma, or they're still trying to heal from it, right? So it kind of stems from the topic we were talking about the other day when it comes to trauma bonding. When you're going through, especially when you're going through transition phases in your life too, like if you're trying to get your life together, I would advise you not to really be around as much people in that time, because you still don't really know who you are. But let's backtrack a little bit, like I said. So, trauma bonding, right? When you are going through something energetically where you feel depleted, or you're trying to get yourself back up, you attract a lot of people to you who, if you allow it, they like to attach themselves to you because neither one of you know where you're going, and neither one of you know what to do with your energy, your time, or your resources, because you're spending all of that time and all of that energy trying to get yourself back up. So you attract those types of vibrations to you, right? And that shows up in friends, romantic relationships, and that's cool, right? I mean, sometimes misery loves company, and I'm gonna be honest, like sometimes when you're going through those types of situations, you don't want to be around light at a certain amount of time, right? Because I'm going through some traumatic mess. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want anybody around me that is going to remind me of the light that could be. I'm just trying to survive, right? And that's cool for a certain amount of time. But what happens when you start to get back up, right? Now those same people who were around you when you were down and out, now it's more of a codependency than it is an alignment or frequency or whatever. So you have to really check that, because a lot of the times you'll try to cling on to those people, or vice versa, they'll try to cling on to you because of the bond that you guys created when you both were in trauma. So now that you're growing out of it, you're also going to outgrow those people. But it's kind of strange, right? Because if you're not careful and you don't notice it, then you'll start to feel guilty about outgrowing those people when you do start to elevate past your original trauma or whatever you're going through. And that'll kind of make you keep them along for the ride when they were supposed to be gone. You got to kick them other. I mean, excuse my language, but you got to kick people out sometimes, because like I said, they will attach themselves to you for the ride. Don't get it twisted, man. Like sometimes, because sometimes those people can be your family. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Those same people who were around you when you were in a traumatic event or when you were down and out, period, they were more so in alignment with you at that time because they also going through trauma. They're also at a place where they haven't found themselves. And I don't say that to make you disrespect them or make you feel like, oh well, then maybe I should just move them. I'm better than them and better than that. No. I'm saying that because you have to understand people heal at different levels. People heal at different frequencies, right? So sometimes you grow and you elevate quicker than your brother, or you grow and elevate quicker than your sister or your friend or whatever, and that's okay. But what you have to understand is you can't bring those people with you. You can't force anybody to grow up, period. So, I mean, that's fine, like I said, but you have to pay respect to the fact that they're not growing with you at the rate that you are. You have to respect that, and then you have to move on. So I wanted to just speak my piece on that because, guys, I'm in the middle of a transition right now. This is no games. This is no gimmicks. This is no faking. Like, I literally have to adjust and adapt to accepting friends and accepting new people into my circle, into my frequency, because I'm cool with being alone. I don't know about y'all. I don't know about y'all, bro, but I am so cool with just it being me, myself, and I. Like, I thrive in independence. Like, I thrive in it. I crave it. Like, it's my drug. You know what I mean? So now that I have an opportunity to have people around me, even in this like Owl Radio and podcast, I'm like opening up more, being on the freaking mic. It's an option for me, but it's an opportunity for me to step into like allowing new people into my circle, allowing new people into my life, and I love that. But a part of it freaks me the heck out. It's freaky because it's like, man, I thrive in independence, but I have to get stretched in now being in a cohabit environment. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it's cohabitation. So I don't know. When I was younger, I was all for it because I didn't have I didn't have an understanding of who I was. So it was like gossiping was cool. But now that I'm older, I have a better understanding of what gossiping is to the core of it, all the way down to a spiritual level, right? It's not just gossiping. That has everything to do about who you are. Like, why do you feel comfortable enough to come to me and talk bad about somebody else? All that does is show me who you are as a person, and then it also shows me that I can't trust you Because if a person will turn around, and if a person will listen to somebody, get close enough to someone, and gossip their business to somebody else, what do you think they will do to you? What do you think? I mean, because I mean, what makes you special, right? If somebody does that to someone else, they will do it to you. But like I said, that's not everybody. I'm just telling you that there are, it's easier for you to pick up on who's energetically for you and who isn't based off of situations like that. Like, they have to be able to align with you energetically and with your morals. Now, people are different. And sometimes you need that balance. You need people who will come and challenge you in a healthy way, right? Not toxic. Like, what you finna do? I need you to fight. Like, no, not that toxic. But sometimes you need people who balance you out, right? Like, if I'm an introvert, I need an extrovert to kind of pull me out of my shell, or vice versa. But be mindful of that, right? Because like I said, when someone comes around you and their main way to connect with you is through trauma and gossiping, run. Run for the hills. Run as fast as you possibly can, because it's not, I mean, unless that's what you into, right? I mean, because, you know, I can't sit here and say that everybody wants peace and prosperity. Sometimes gossip is what you love. Gossip and drama is the new wave. But it ain't for me, honestly. And if that's how you want to communicate, then you're probably going to fade off to the background. I can't. Not I can't. But just be very mindful, guys. Like I said, I'm just giving you tips on how to better manage your time, because like I said, it can be easy to waste time with someone who you know isn't for you. People show you exactly who they are. That's the funny part about it. People will come in and show you exactly who they are based off of how they move, how they talk, the people they surround themselves with. And this isn't about judging someone. This isn't about judgment. It's about being self-aware. What is it that you feel like you are in alignment with? Who you are. That will give you a better understanding on who you need to have around you. Because if your goals are to succeed and to ultimately change your circle to a group of people who are more successful, who inspire you, who entertain, not just, or stimulate not just your body, they stimulate your mind. If your goal is to be around more like-minded people like that, why do you think it's okay to surround yourself around people who gossip and fight, or do that stuff just for fun? I don't get that. I don't get it. But maybe you guys can call in and enlighten me on why you feel like that's the vibe. I mean, because I don't know. I don't know, man. Some people are built different. I'm just trying to, if you're listening to me, my goal is to elevate you spiritually and mentally. So I would prefer my listener there, you know, and sometimes people, even people who are listening to this right now, like, some of y'all are not going to stay. Some of y'all may not listen to me, and that's all right. Listen, I'm not trying to cling on to the to anybody. I'm not trying to twist anybody's arm, because sometimes you're just not in alignment with what it is that I'm trying to achieve and accomplish, and that's okay. But for the people who get it, for the girls who get it, then ultimately, it's only one or two things that can happen when you meet people, right? They're either going to grow with you or they're going to die off. And I'm cool either way. Like I said, I thrive. I swear, I thrive off of independence. I swear, y'all. It's borderline toxic a little bit how much I love my solitude. It's like,
So listen,
ooh.
a lot of the times people kind of submerge themselves in the crowd simply because they don't want to be alone, and I get that. But the main point of this podcast, this show today, is to make sure that you understand that self-awareness is key. You have to be self-aware enough to know who you are in order for you to align with the right kinds of people, because at the end of the day, right, there are going to be a lot of people who attract them, you're going to attract a lot of different people into your life, and they come in at specific seasons, right? Like when you're young, you have your crowd. When you get older, you have your crowd. And just as you evolve, you have your crowd, right? And some people, they just kind of plateau and then they stick with the people that they have. Eventually, you will find your soul tribe. But you have to decipher between who those people are and who they're not. because it can be very easy for counterfeits to come in and portray like they are your friends, especially when you're down and out, when you don't know who you are. It can be very easy for a counterfeit to come in and play you out of your position. And let me tell you something, I've been there before. I've been there. I've had a lot of people come in and fake kick it with me just for the sake of like, oh, well, I love the fact that you always give me advice. I love the fact that you're always there. I love the fact that you're evolving. But you are not doing anything but depleting me. You know what I mean? Have you ever had anybody in your circle like that? Like, you just feel drained. I had someone like that in my life. Like, seriously, I don't even remember the girl's name. I had to cut her off. It was that bad. But okay, so look, it's just, we would have conversations all the time, right? And at the end of those conversations, I would feel depleted, and she would feel like on top of the world because I just gave her all of me. I just gave her all of the great advice, but she never once stopped to turn around and ask if I was okay when I was in a time of need, or just randomly say like, hey, well, I have this going on. Do you want to link up, or just whatever? And for a long time, I really allowed that because my expectations were really low for people. And this is why I also wanted to touch on this topic, because I feel like when you're young, that kind of sets the stage for your expectations for people. It sets the stage because sometimes you feel like when you get disappointed so much as a child, when it comes to people, like you automatically know people aren't going to be there for me, or you automatically know like, or it really just stems from your childhood. So let me take it a little bit deeper. When you know you cannot depend on your mother, or you know that you cannot depend on your father, you take that into your everyday life, because now it's like, if I can't even depend on the people who are raising me, how am I supposed to trust anybody? And you kind of lower your standards as far as what you attract into your life. It's like, well, if I can't trust anybody anyway, let me just have a whole bunch of people around me for the sake of having company, because now it's not about building a bond. I already know that's not going to work out. Now it's just about being popular, or now it's just about being, looking like I have it all together. And you know what? It's funny because when you make it about that, it can become so easy to build up a facade. And people have become so good at making masks. I'm talking about real good. Like, man, Beyonce level. Like, y'all masks are just so pretty. It's so pretty. It's so dope too, because like y'all take the time to like carve out your mask and make it so intricate to the point where you imitate exactly what it is that you want people to see. But see, the funny part about that is, if you would put half as much time as you did into building the mask, into really putting in the work, you would be a completely different person. But that's neither here nor there. A lot of that is just trauma. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. My point is, you have to understand, like, a lot of the time that your disappointment in where you started can set the stage for where you're going. And if you aren't careful and you don't check that, then you're going to find yourself in a position where your expectations for people are so low that you allow anybody into your circle without even questioning it. And see, that leaves room for snakes to come in your garden. And I'm not for it. Not in 2023. You need to check that, especially if you find yourself wanting to listen to my podcast or be my friend. I'm not for that. I'm not with that. And I don't support that either. So you have to check that, because like I said, you can tell me all day the type of person that you are, but show me who you surround yourself with. Show me how you move. Show me that. And that will ultimately tell me who you are. Words don't mean anything. So you have to be very mindful. I know that your expectations can get kind of shot at a really young age, because it starts at home. It starts at home. If you can't depend on your mom or your father, then I'm not going to go around depending on a friend either. I don't know how. I haven't learned. So it's hard for you to ultimately create bonds outside of trauma bonds that are lasting and that actually mean something and they have depth. But that's no longer going to be an excuse for you to actually decipher between who's for you and who isn't, right? And that goes for me too. I have to take my own advice, right? Because now that I'm starting this podcast, you have to understand, I am open to allowing a lot of people on my show, but even that has to now be qualified. It can't just be anybody being on my show. And that is not just out of me being selfish. It's me respecting my craft for what it is. And you have to be honorable of that, because at the end of the day, if you just allow any and everything in, then what does that say about the quality of your work? How can I respect what it is that you do if you don't respect what it is that you do? You understand? So it's just about getting to the root of what it is, and then unraveling it. Sometimes you have to unlearn yourself. And that's kind of a hard pill to swallow, but at the end of the day, it's something you got to do. Because like I said, if we're going to talk about meeting people energetically, or who are energetically on your level, you have to raise your energy, because your energetic level could be on demon time. And now we talking about like attracting more demons. So at that point, you have to get more realistic about who you are, and you have to look in the mirror to tell you that I can't tell you that. You could be a whole demon. And now you just attracted more demons, getting mad at like the company you keep. Nah, bro. Don't get mad now. You know what I mean? Like, nah, demons like demons. You know what I mean? Like, demons love that. Demons know how to party. You know what I mean? But you know, you got to be mindful too, because sometimes demons also like light. That's why you have to be mindful of who you keep around you. It's not just about the aesthetic. It's got to be deeper than that in 2023. Because a lot of people look pretty on the outside, but who are you on the inside? That's why I gave you guys the advice that I did. That's why I ultimately made sure that you have tips and clues on who to surround yourself with, and what it looks like to have someone around you who really isn't in energetic alignment with you. Because people will take full advantage of you not knowing the difference. And that's hard, because sometimes they get so crafty that it won't be until you're way deep into the relationship, years into the relationship, and you look up and you realize you've surrounded yourself with nothing but snakes in the garden. And now what? Now what are we doing? Right? Because here we are. You know, and you can't be mad at anyone about it. You just have to be more self-aware and more cautious, because it's not about dimming your own light or being upset with yourself. It's just about being honest with yourself. I don't want you to feel like it has to be so doom and gloom, and you have to punish yourself every time you make a wrong mistake, or now you have to close yourself off in a bubble just to make sure nobody gets in now. That's not good either. Sometimes you have to go through trial and error to understand who's for you and who isn't, and that's okay. Don't be afraid of that. Don't put yourself in a bubble trying to close yourself off. And I had to learn that too. So don't be afraid of that. Just make sure that you understand. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way. Yeah, and being lonely is okay. Like I said, y'all, I am pro-lonely. Not lonely. I am pro-independent. I'm pro-independent, y'all. Lonely is a bad term. It's a no word in my vocabulary book. That's bad. But I am pro. I sound like, I'm sorry, guys. I don't really curse. I don't really do all the works. Not anymore. If y'all would have met me like in 2015, I would have been a completely different person. I swear. I would have been with all the rowdy, with all that. I want all the smoke. But not this me. So I am just trying to, this is just me evolving. All this is me letting you in on my journey. So don't be discouraged if you feel like this is something that feels too much, right? Just understand that it takes time. It takes time. So make sure you have a better understanding of who's around you, who's in your circle. And the only way you can do that is by understanding who you are. So that's my show, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be doing this podcast. What is this, a podcast? I'm going to be going live show. I'm going to be going live every Friday, but I have a podcast every Tuesday. It's called Self-Care Safari. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, but definitely on YouTube. I want my YouTube family to grow. Follow me on all of those social media platforms. But also just tune in on All Radio every Friday, and I'll see you guys then. Bye, guys.